First, we'll explain how the defense operates, which will require a brief history lesson. Second, we'll discuss the procedural mechanisms by which this defense can be raised. The heart of the defense of failure to state a claim is that the plaintiff will not be entitled to prevail even if every factual allegation in the complaint is true. For this reason, Professor Laurel Terry has referred to motions to dismiss as so what motions, because the defendant is essentially pointing to the complaint and saying, so what? You still can't win, even if everything you say is true. The defense of failure to state a claim is rooted in Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 8A2, which requires that the complaint contain a short and plain statement of the claim, showing that the pleader is entitled to relief. If the complaint does not do this, then it fails to state a claim. So what does a complaint have to do in order to put forth a short and plain statement of the claim, showing that the pleader is entitled to relief? Historically, there have been two different regimes in which the requirement was construed differently. The first regime, which we'll call the Connolly regime, was around for decades before being supplanted by the current regime, which we'll call the Twombly-Iqbal regime. The Connolly regime takes its name from arguably the first major Supreme Court case to analyze Rule 8A2, namely the case of Connolly v. Gibson. The famous language that everyone quoted from the case for the next 50 years was that a complaint should not be dismissed for failure to state a claim unless it appears beyond doubt that the plaintiff can prove no set of facts in support of his claim, which would entitle him to relief. As the Supreme Court later observed, a broad and literal reading of Connolly would sustain a complaint with little more than conclusory allegations, with virtually no factual development, so long as they allowed for the possibility that a plaintiff might somehow dig up evidence to support facts consistent with the vague allegations in the complaint. For example, suppose that Jack sues Bruno in federal court for false imprisonment. Generally, false imprisonment